This is really weird to do again. So basically this video is going to be about my birth. I've put my home birth video up, that was the last video I uploaded, and I got some questions from people, basically like people that want to have a home birth, people that never knew it was an option, just general questions basically. So I put a question and answer up on my Instagram, and it was actually a couple of weeks ago. I tried to film this previously and it did not go to plan, so I screenshotted it, if I can find it. Basically a bit of a shit show. I tried for home birth, had my pool up, everything was basically going according to plan, and then my waters broke, which most people were like, yeah, that's it, that's the start of it, but that didn't happen. So my waters broke and it was 24 hours later and nothing happened, and obviously it's your first time giving birth and the hospital says you have to come in after 24 hours, you go in, and then it was a drip, and the drip was absolutely awful. My hypnobirthing went straight out the window. I wasn't allowed a water birth. I was only supposed to have one birthing partner because it was my local hospital. You're only supposed to have one birthing partner, or you're only allowed one birthing partner. I managed to get my mummy in, but when doctors come in, they had to swap and they had to go in and out and stuff. But yeah, it was awful. It was basically, I was induced at like 6, and it was back-to-back contractions. Killing was back-to-back. It was just awful, basically from 6 to 5, which compared to some women, they go through that drip for days, so I mean it wasn't that bad, but it was just not, it wasn't the experience that I'd imagined in my head. It wasn't Emily's birth, basically. Emily's birth was what I wanted with Killian. So yeah, it was an induction, stitches, not a lot of pain relief catheter. We tried the remifentanil, but I was having like so many contractions in 10 minutes, so I was only getting the remifentanil 1 in every 3 contractions, whatever way it turned out. And I'm pretty sure I'm probably butchering the name of that remifentanil. It was a drip and a button, basically. And they took it away from me when you were pushing on the catheter, which wasn't fun. But I was allowed it back when I was getting the stitches, and button was pushed flat out when I was getting the stitches. So yeah, I have like a bit of fluff on my nose. And then I was in hospital for a day after that. I hate hospitals. That's basically the main reason why I wanted to have a home birth. I have really bad anxiety around hospitals. I hate them. Panic attacks and all that caper, I just don't like them. So with, hey, come here. You always have to make a bloody appearance. Then the second, how did you stay so calm with so many people there, and what made you choose to have them there? I was a birthing partner for my cousin and his girlfriend Claire, and it was probably one of the best experiences ever. And she was brilliant. Like, that was her 4th child, and it was just like a breeze. Whatever way you would want your birth to go, it was like that. Like, I think she only had a bit of gas in her, and child was out. She was out the next day. It was brilliant, and I was like, what an amazing experience it was. And I would love to give that to other people. Obviously COVID was happening, so I didn't want loads of people. And my cousin, so it was my cousin who's Emily's godmother, my mummy and my sister, and they were all COVID tested and all the rest of it, and it was brilliant. See, having them there, it was just amazing, and they got to experience it. And yeah, I just wanted them to have that experience. In the zone, it was just me and Lee, so really it didn't feel like they were there at all. Like, there was times I even forgot anybody else was in the room. I was just so focused on Lee. He knew what I wanted, he knew my birth plan, everything to a T. It was just me and him. My camera keeps going out of focus, and I'm not really, don't have a clue how to fix it. Were you ever worried that something could go wrong, and did you feel safe? So I'm very much like, your body's meant to do this. Things can go wrong, and that happens, and you know, it's awful, it does happen, but it can. I'm 10 minutes away from my local hospital. If I had been maybe an hour away or something, it would have been different for me, but I was 10 minutes away. So, and the midwives, like, they all know what they're doing. There's all the machines are there, like, if God forbid they had to help the baby breathe or anything like that, it's all there. So no, I wasn't really worried. The only thing I had a slight like worry about is shoulder dystocia, because my sister went to fortune teller and told her that, oh, your sister's pregnant and she's going to struggle to get this one out. She's going to need forceps or a C-section. So as soon as the head was out, I'd done the wrong thing and just pushed for dear life when I should have just waited for the next contraction. But I just pushed because I was like so hard scared of her getting stuck. Other than that, and I mean, even at that, I educated myself on the shoulder dystocia and the different techniques that midwives could have done at home. I mean, they looked horrific, but I knew that something could have been done if that was the case, so I was mentally prepared for it. Do you tell your midwife you want a home birth? Yes. So basically, I think you can do it at your 20-week appointment, but with both mine, it was decided quite early on. But yeah, definitely let them know. The sooner the better, because there is a lot of paperwork and stuff for them and equipment that they need to get out. As soon as you decide you want a home birth, just tell your midwife. I loved your YouTube birth story. Did you use quotes and affirmations to help you focus? Yes. So basically, when I started to go into transition, and I knew, right, that's basically the stage when you get like, I can't do this anymore, it's too hard. I knew then, right, that's transition, Rachel, you can do it, just get Lee to read your quotes. I think he was a wee bit embarrassed to start off with, but they did really help. So the wee piece of paper that you'll see in my birth video, I'll link it in the bar so you can see it if you can't find it. I mean, I hardly have hundreds of YouTube videos, so you should find it. But yeah, that's what I got him to read out. So it was like, you can do anything for 60 seconds, and that was the main one. Like, yeah, like this contraction, you just need to get through it, and then you get your break. With Killian, I never got a break. It was just constant, so I couldn't have even, like, it wasn't like you can do anything for 60 seconds. It was like, oh, you can do anything for 12 hours. It was awful. Did you go to the hospital after? No. So you don't need to go to the hospital after, obviously, unless you have some sort of complication or like a really bad tear or anything like that. I was able to get stitched up there on the living room floor. That was probably the worst part about having a home birth, is the stitches, because obviously it's just gas and air. But no sooner, like, I wasn't getting to that stage and being like, yeah, I'll go to hospital for my stitches. I was like, do them there, I'll be fine, suck it up. Was giving birth your second easier than your first? 1,000,000%. You know what you're going in for, you know what it is, and you just have that mindset. I knew what it was, basically nothing could have been worse than Killian's birth in my head, so I knew I could do it. And I knew Lee knew what I wanted, and Lee had experienced both of them with me. And even Lee will tell you, like, my home birth was amazing. He loved it. Like, it was him that was actually like, you should share it. Like, people should see how amazing it can be and encourage women to do it. And I was like, yeah, I should. I'll share it. Do you get any pain relief with the home birth? You get your gas and air and, like, paracetamol. That's when I would really strongly encourage you to do hypnobirthing. I look into hypnobirthing. But breathing really gets you through it. Honestly. Like, our bodies are made to do this. Do you know what I mean? You can do it. Not a question, but you did amazing, and I loved watching. Oh. Did the hospital have someone in after to clean the birth? So, I don't know. I didn't have to give birth in the hospital, so not quite sure about that one. But if you're on about my home birth in terms of cleaning, all there was to basically put the pool down. So my husband and my sister drained the pool. I had a liner, so you get a liner and then basically you drain as much water as you can out, gather your liner up and throw it in the bin. It was so easy. The afterbirth, like the placenta, it's taken away in a box, a medical box, by the midwives. Were you allowed more than 2 family because you were at home? Yes, so at home you can have basically as many as you want. It's your house, you can have whoever you want. Clover is in there with me. So yeah, you can have as many people as you want. I had 3. To be honest, if it wasn't for COVID, I'd have probably had more. My cousin wanted in on it and all too, and I would have had, but it was just COVID. Like, it was the first lockdown, everybody was terrified, they didn't know what it could do to pregnant women, like, there was just a lot going around, so I was too afraid to have more people for that reason. How long were you in labour for? Well, I had a midwife appointment at 2:30, and that was basically to get checked. And while I was there, I was like, look, I know people are against it, but I was like, give me a sweep. Let's see if this does anything, because literally when I walked, it's like I could feel Emily's head there. It was so uncomfortable. So yeah, 2:30 I had a sweep, and I was told that it was around 3 centimetres and that my membranes were bulging. Is that right? But the midwife basically put down that it was, I think, 2 to 3 centimetres, but she thinks I was a good 4, but she didn't want to tell me that to get my hopes up, because she knows how desperate I was to go into labour and get this home birth this time. So at around 3 I started having some like waves, contractions, and I just assumed they were Braxton Hicks because I'd had them for so long. But probably I'd say about 4:30 I was like, oh no, these are quite regular. I actually went home to my mummy and she looked at me and she was like, Rachel, I think this is it, I think you're in labour. And I was like, no, go home, mummy, I'll ring you, I'll let you know, don't be coming over, just don't get your hopes up. About 5:30 I started timing them, and I remember actually it was coming close to putting Killian down to bed, so around 7, 7:30 I was like, right, these are strong. And I was texting like a group of my friends, and they were like, text the midwife. And I was like, no, I don't want to text her yet, like I'm happy enough doing this on my own for a while, I don't want to like waste her time if it's not happening. And then at 7:30, after we got Killian down, Lee came out and he was like, right, do you want me to leave you for a bit? I was like, no, put the pull up, this is it, I'm going to text the midwife. Then the midwife rang me back about 3 times, and it wasn't until the 3rd time that she was like, right, because I couldn't talk then, she spoke to my mummy, she's like, right, I'm on my way. Basically, she knew it was happening then. So I used the TENS machine for a good while, and it helped a bit, and then it just got to a stage where it wasn't doing anything anymore. So I think it was at around 10 o'clock, I was like, right, I'm going to get into the pool now. I tried to save all of the pain relief that I had, like, for as long as I could, if you know what I mean. So I used the TENS machine, and then I got into the pool at 10, and it was at about 25 past 10. Here, I'm just referring to my notes. 25 past 10 that I asked for the gas and air, and for Lee to start reading me my affirmations. So, and then yeah, at 10:55 she was born. 10:54 she was born. So about 8 hours. Like, you can't. That was amazing, and it only got really tough when I got in the pool, and that was the last hour pretty much. So yeah. The placenta came at 11:15. I didn't get any injections or anything to get it to come quicker, and then after I got my stitches, and I was able to go and get into my own shower, and I came out and my family had Emily, and it was just lovely. Lee was able to do the night feed. We actually woke up the next morning and we were like, oh my god, this happened. I think I've answered most of the questions. I kind of lost some of the screenshots. Basically, if you can have a home birth, and if it's something you even are slightly considering, do it. It is the best experience. Like, giving birth to a child at any time is an amazing experience, but doing it at home is just amazing. Like, you're in your own comforts, like, you're not stressed out, anything you want, it's there, and I just think every woman should go for it. So yeah, I hope this has given you the information or any help that you need to finally take the courage and go, yeah, I'm going to do it. And as I say, if there's any other questions or anything I can help with, just comment them below or go onto my Instagram and send me a message on Instagram. But yeah, thank you for watching, thank you for the questions, and goodbye.